introductions, sorry, but we'll just roll with it.
Yeah, we'll run with it. All right.
Yeah, we'll do.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dragon Sandguy podcast. I've returned after a 6-month break, and I've got a special guest. If you'd like to introduce yourself, mate.
Hey, guys. Yeah, my name's Ryan Stig.
How did you get involved in rugby league?
Mate, just my family was really involved in it. My grandfather coached lower grades for South Sydney and was a sort of a scout for them for a long time. So I grew up watching games with him, watching my dad and uncles and stuff play. So it was just, very entrenched in our family. And then I don't think I had a choice but to play. So, I obviously played from a really young age then and just loved it. And, it's just been a big part of my life, I suppose, up until I was about 22 when I got sick. But, it's just sort of something that family's always been involved in. So that was probably how I got involved in the game initially, mate.
What was your junior club?
I had a couple because I started playing up the coast in Nambucca Heads. That was where my family is originally from. And then I moved to Maitland and played with a club called Morpeth Bulls, and then transitioned through to play for the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers sort of through the junior reps. And I played a bit of grade with them as well when I was really young, sort of after the Harold Matthews and SG Ball seasons and stuff like that. So, they're clubs. There wasn't just one. It sort of had Nambucca and then, the Pickers, Maitland Pickers.
What was it like making your NRL debut?
Yeah, that was obviously really exciting, mate. Something you work for a long time for, and I think something you dream of as a young rugby league player. And it feels like you won't get there at some points. Although I was still pretty young when I played. I was 21 when I made my debut, but I was sort of close a few years earlier, and I had to go away and work on my game, which worked out to be a good thing. But it was just really exciting, mate. I'm really lucky in that I got to debut for Newcastle, being a Newcastle boy, in front of my friends and family. Not a lot of guys get to do that, to play for their hometown club. So that was, really special, and had a lot of friends and family there, and I had a good game as well, which also helps, and we won the game. So, it was definitely a night to remember, mate.
What was the biggest difference you noticed from NRL to New South Wales Cup?
The speed. It was just I was playing pretty good in New South Wales Cup at the time, but then my first game, I just remember watching sort of from about 65 minutes. I was just thinking, I'm pretty tired here, whereas usually I'd be fine. But you adjust after a few. I just think probably the intensity of the game is a little bit quicker, and I think the players can sort of hurt you from anywhere in NRL. So, you just got to be really on your guard at all times, and then I think just a bit more physically taxing. But I personally, I found I thought I played some of my best footy at NRL level, and I think that's just because you have a lot of quality players around you, and you do a lot of research going into the game, and you're well prepared. So,
Who was your favourite player who was your favourite ever NRL player?
Favourite ever? Growing up in Newcastle and being a halfback, I think it's hard to go past Andrew Johns because he was, such a prominent figure in the game for so long, and I was also lucky enough to get mentored a bit by him as he was kind of finishing up as I was coming through. So, I'd probably say Andrew. He was, I think my favourite. He changed the game for halfbacks as well, the way he played. So
Most definitely.
Yeah, so I think he's probably my favourite mate, definitely, and like he had such an impact on my game and sort of helped to shape the way I play and see the game and develop parts of my game. So I'm very thankful to him, and yeah, he's definitely a great player to watch and someone I looked up to growing up.
So, what was it like returning to the field this year
Yeah, it
for
was
you?
great. It was great to pull on the Knights colours again and get a few more games. I obviously when I was crook, I got sick for about 8 years there, and sort of looked through the lens of I'd always like to get back and play. Whilst I didn't get to play NRL this year, it was it was still good to be back around the club and yeah, just try to enjoy my time and I really enjoyed being around the young fellas and yeah, it was just really good. I would have liked to play a few more games this year, but yeah, it wasn't to be, unfortunately. But yeah, all in all, I still enjoyed myself and yeah, enjoyed being back around the Knights and their new facility there is great. So yeah, it was excellent, mate, and something I probably didn't think I would do. For maybe a bit longer, probably. In my mid-20s, things weren't looking good health-wise, so to get back was great.
So, if you're comfortable with talking about the health issues and that, mate, if you're comfortable, what health issues did you have that kept you out of the game?
I had a thing called Lyme disease. I think it turned out as it was. Initially, I started to get blurry vision. I had a fair bit of surgery after the 2011 or 12 season, and I was just not responding and stuff like that. And then at track, yeah, I just appeared as like uh, blurry vision, and they said I had a blood clot in my eye. But it turned out to kind of be the tip of the iceberg, and I just kind of kept going downhill as sort of the years went on, and yeah, then I just had to work really hard, mate, to get right. It took me a long time to work out what the problem was, which was a bit of a shame because if I had have found out a bit earlier, I might have been able to knock it on the head quicker and then stop some of the damage. Because once I got the infections and stuff under control, then I had to sort of wind back a lot of the damage that the bacteria and that had done in my body and in my brain. I was sort of like MSE type symptoms that time. Like I was close to being in a wheelchair. I was losing like functions on my limbs and stuff like that. So whilst I got the infection under control, a lot of the bacteria and that had sort of damaged my nervous system and different things like that. So I had to then go into sort of trying to heal my body. You know what I mean? So then that was the next step, and then that took a while, and it's still going. To be honest, I still try to look after myself really well, and believe I'll just continue to heal and improve as I spend more time sort of not fighting the issues. But yeah, then I sort of started to return to health a little bit, and just continued to track up since then, and yeah, there's sort of a lot of ups and downs in between those 7 or 8 years. It was pretty horrible at times, and yeah, I'm sort of lucky to be back where I am in a way because there's a lot of people that have what I have sort of don't get better and are still struggling. So yeah.
What was the process for you to get back on the field? Like,
In
like
regard to like health,
yeah,
sort of.
like how did you get to the point where you were ready to get back and
Well, as I said, I always wanted to, and I think that was kind of a thing that really spurred me on. I had I've got some young daughters as well, and they definitely provided some motivation to get healthy because they need me, but also just the whole time through, I really wanted to get back to playing in the NRL, but I kind of looked through that lens the whole way through, and when I got back to a point where I thought I was healthy enough, I thought I'll just start to get back into the gym and just try to regain my strength and stuff like that. And then, I sort of went back in, done a bit of training, and just gradually sort of felt my way back to the point where I could play again. But yeah, it was definitely been a few years of sort of laying foundations of strength and fitness and that back. It was quite a shock to the body initially, just because I hadn't done anything in about 7 or 8 years. So initially when I went back to playing, I broke my ribs a few times, just because my bone density, I think, sort of softened after not getting the knocks over a few years. That was sort of adjustment. I think what else? Just the physicality of the training, and just building back up that conditioning and strength base that you do over years. It was just all gone. So that was a process, and it's taken me 4 or 5 years, to be honest, and I've sort of finally gotten back to a point where I think I could compete. I'm a bit older now, so it's taken me a long time, unfortunately.
Where do you plan on playing in 2025?
Mate, I don't know whether I will be playing, to be honest. I've had some discussions with the Knights, and they're not really keen to do anything moving forward into 2025. So even if an opportunity with another NRL club doesn't pop up, I'll probably that might be it for me, unfortunately, mate. I feel really good, and I'd like to play, but at the same time, it's got to be the right opportunity. And it's sort of at my age, mate. Sort of, I'm not really a player of the future, and I suppose I feel like I can contribute still for a couple of years, but whether someone wants to give me that opportunity remains to be seen. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment, mate. Unfortunately, I was very disappointed the Knights didn't want to do anything, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose, so to speak.
Would you consider going back to like park footy and that, or?
Well, I played a few games of park footy, sort of working my way back into fitness and health, and it was always kind of a stepping stone. And the Newcastle Rugby League's a great competition up here. And whilst I would consider it at this point in time, I don't think I'll be able to justify it just from a risk rewards perspective. So yeah, at this point, I'm leading to no to playing park footy. If something doesn't come up, it's sort of with an NRL opportunity.
What clubs did you professionally play for?
I played for the Knights professionally, and a team in France called the Limoux Grizzlies. So I went over there a couple of years back. That was sort of one of my first years back playing. And that was a phenomenal experience. When I was younger, actually, I spent a pre-season at the Cowboys and played for their feeder team, the Northern Pride. And it was the first ever time the Northern Pride had won the competition. So that was great to be a part of. And I was within the Cowboys system that year. I initially went up with the hope of playing with Thurston. I got it the year before to go up there, but Knights wouldn't release me because I had another year to run on my contract in under 20s. And then I went up the year after, sort of hoping to crack it and play alongside Thurston, but ended up playing the year with the Northern Pride. We won the comp, and then I came back to Newcastle the year after. So that was the year I made my debut. But yeah, it's just been the Knights and Knights, Limoux, and I suppose you could count that year at the Northern Pride. But yeah, I was a Knights junior, came all the way through and played my debut. So I'm sort of pretty lucky in that regard. Not many kids from Newcastle get to do that. So
How do you prepare yourself for a game?
I try to get a good sleep and that, mate. Day before, depending on training schedules and stuff like that. Just try to recover as well as possible. I did like to have like an Epsom salt stretch on the night before. That was always something I liked to do. Just help me to sleep well. And yeah, on game day, just sort of don't like to do too much. A lot of guys like to get out and about. I sort of like to have a slow morning and just hang out with family and have a coffee and have a stretch and a roll, and then might have a swim if I can. And then, yeah, that's about it, really. And then go to the game. Usually have to be there, like if you're playing around 3 or something like that, get there around 1:30. So, yeah, they can, you can. There's not a heap of time to get much in before then. So, yeah, that's my sort of basic day, mate, before a game.
What player in the NRL this year surprised you the most?
Surprise me. That's a good question. Come back to that one. Let me ponder that one.
I have a question for you, mate. What is your favourite music?
Favorite music. Probably not a genre, mate. I like a lot of old music. Hey, I like a lot of the old classics. I think I've got a classics playlist that gets a good run. Just a lot of sort of the olden days kind of hits. I don't mind them.
That's kind of me as well. I'm into all the older
I love the
stuff.
old Beatles and who else? Van Morrison, stuff like that.
Yeah, same for me as well. So
Yeah, that's good. A bit of Elvis as well.
yeah. So what's one piece of advice you'd give a young and up and coming player?
Get good people around you, smart people that will help you with your sort of your contracts and stuff like that, whether it be a manager or your parents. And I think they're, the way contracts and stuff are structured these days is really important. But outside of that, obviously, eat well, train hard, get your sleep. Don't try and don't get distracted by things when you start to get a bit of success, and just stay consistent with that. If you can just stack good training and good seasons back to back to back, you sort of pop out. And I didn't make my NRL debut till I'd done, I think, 3. It was my third, and after my third NRL preseason, so I'd done 3 NRL preseasons before I made my debut. So, you know what I mean? It's just, it takes a little bit of time, and you just got to stack that good training and consistency and try and learn from the older players. I think that's really important. I think when you're young, you sort of think you know a lot, but at the same time, you've got so much to learn, and be inquisitive and ask questions of the older players. I think just having that posture within the team environment will just gain your respect from the older players, and having that humility to ask questions and learn really positions you well to, I think, be successful in your career. So yeah, there's a few things there, but yeah.
Who is your favourite player you got to play with or against?
Play with or against? Oh, I think I was lucky enough to get to play with some great players in Newcastle. It'd be hard to single any one of them out. But like I was lucky enough to play with guys like Kurt Gidley and Jared Mullen, and unfortunately I didn't get to play with Danny Badira, so I got sick the year he came back to the club, which I was really disappointed about. He was someone that always looked up to. So yeah, they were a couple of probably guys in Newcastle who had really good careers that I got to play with. Isaac de Gois, he was a great player to play with, just one of the toughest guys I played with. He now does pathways at Parramatta. He was a terrific guy to play with. But play against, I was lucky enough to play against like Darren Lockyer. He was one that I think stood out, just how much time he had in the game. I was playing 5'8" against him in that game, and just I think he was 36 at the time, and he just had so much time. He never seemed rushed, and he just controlled the game really well. So he was someone I grew up watching since I was a little boy, and to get to face off against him was pretty cool. Yeah, he was one, but you got Cameron Smith and guys like that who are just phenomenal as well. So,
what are your thoughts on the Pacific Championship this year?
Yeah, I think it was entertaining footy. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought I sat down last night to watch Sean's last game because he's been such a phenomenal player and someone I really enjoyed watching. We actually debuted on the same round back in 2011, so it was like I thought I'll tune in, watch his last game, and I love watching him last night. I think he had 5 try assists or something like that. He had it on a string, so that was really entertaining. And I thought the players played really well considering the length of the season they've just come off. The amount of footy a lot of them have got through. I just think to be able to then go again and put such a good brand of footy together was pretty impressive. And the Aussies got done. I thought it was good to see Tonga in the final as well. I
was there yesterday, so.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
It was a good.
Yeah, I've never been to a game that's that loud before. The Tongan community are extremely loud and passionate, and they make it an enjoyable time.
Yeah, it would have been a good game to be at, and they made a good game of it. That was close. Yeah. So, hats off to everyone that played in it. I thought, after a big season, and I think too those environments when you get in them in the rep teams, you have a lot of fun. You meet some new mates, and you live sort of in each other's pockets, and it's a really good time, So I think a lot of those guys would have enjoyed the camaraderie of that. So
we'll also run back to about the other question I asked before: is what players surprised you during the 2024 season?
I thought I was really impressed with Kieran this year, Kieran Foran. I just thought he's had so many injury sort of setbacks, and some of the form he strung together during parts of the season, sort of when Gold Coast were on a bit of a run there, I thought was just really impressive. He had a lot of try assists and was really sort of having strong influence on the game. So I remember sort of that patch he went through when he was in some pretty good form. I thought, he's still playing as good as ever, and after all those injury setbacks, so credit to him. He's been a great player for a really long time, and then just to keep showing it this year, I thought was pretty impressive. And it's probably, a question like that might be more often these say, a young up and comer, but I think that Keanu Kinney surprised me as well. But yeah, Kieran definitely stood out to me this year, just the way he had that real purple patch of form. I think it was sort of mid to late in the season. He was just playing so well.
What's one club do you think next year will surprise people?
Probably Parramatta, mate. I think from what I've heard, Jason Rolls is a pretty good operator, and he's had a really good apprenticeship at a lot of different clubs. He's been under Bellamy and he's been under Robbo at East, and yeah, he's probably couldn't have had a better apprenticeship, and he's played at the highest levels there is. So I think they will shock some people, mate, because they when you think about it, they got a really good team. Like they got Mitchell Moses, I think, is playing some of the best footy he's ever played, and I've got a massive rap on him. He's a halfback that can really dominate games when he gets in a mood, and so I think they got him at halfback, and then they've got a pretty good team, and new coach coming in, freshen up. I reckon they'll definitely improve this year. So they'd be my probably bolter at the moment. But yeah.
And what's one thing that keeps you being positive?
Probably just my family, mate. I've got a beautiful wife and 2 kids. They're all happy and healthy, and I'm really lucky to have them in my life. And I think they, getting up every day, they sort of give you a purpose. And I think as well, like for me, having been through a pretty bad sort of years back to back through my 20s, just being healthy again and being able to live life whilst I sort of missed a lot, and I still gets me down a bit, missing all those years of footy and what could have been. If I can align my perspective most of the time to be thankful that I'm not sick anymore, or it could have been a lot worse. That definitely puts me in a good frame of mind, But at the same time, that's a challenge because sometimes I sort of, if I'm honest, I get a bit down and a bit bummed about missing all the footy and missing sort of my career for the most part. But at the same time, it could have been worse. So if I can, align my perspective to that most of the time, I'm pretty positive and happy, mate.
And I just want to thank you very much for joining my podcast. It's a privilege to have you on, and we hope to see you back on the field next year, possibly. And we'll keep you updated. I will have a charity show on next year where we get a heap of different players on, and I raise money for charity and I perform. So I'll keep you updated, and if you'd like, I can send you some merch as well.
Yeah, sure, mate. Thank you. No, thank you so much for having me. And I hope the Dragons have a better year next year for you as well, mate.
I've been saying that since 2010. So
yeah. Nah, they'll go better, mate. Got a good coach there. They're chipping away, so I'm sure they'll improve.
Okay. Thank you very much, mate. And thank you, everybody, for watching. I have a new song coming out on YouTube at the end of the week. So if you can check that out as well. Thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe. And you can follow Ryan's Instagram, will be in the description below. Thank you, everybody. And thank you very much, Ryan. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks very much.
Catch you, mate.